He has won everything football can offer. 5 league titles in England, 3 in Spain, 1 in Italy, Champions League trophies, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5. 5 Ballon d'Or awards. The most international goals ever scored by any human being on this planet. By every single measure of individual greatness, Cristiano Ronaldo is done. Complete. Finished. The greatest of all time. But here is where the story gets uncomfortable. 1 trophy, 1 stage, 1 month in the summer, every 4 years. It has never, not once, belonged to him. The FIFA World Cup. And the worst part? Time is no longer on his side. The clock is ticking. And right now, the biggest question in all of football is this. Is this the year Cristiano Ronaldo finally gets the only thing missing? Or is this the year the dream dies forever? Stay with us, because this story is not over yet. Before we talk about the wound, we need to understand the man, because you cannot feel the weight of what is missing until you understand exactly how much is already there. A boy from Madeira, a tiny island off the coast of Portugal, a family with almost nothing, a father who struggled with alcohol, a mother who worked every hour God sent, and a kid so obsessed with football that the other boys on the street would joke. This boy does not eat. He does not sleep. He just plays. That obsession never left him. It just scaled to a level nobody on that island could have imagined. At 18 years old, a teenage Ronaldo walked into Old Trafford and gave Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager in the history of the sport, a problem he had never dealt with before. A player so talented, so raw, so completely on fire, that Ferguson had to rebuild his entire system around him. What followed was one of the most extraordinary careers in the history of sport. Not just football. Sport. At Manchester United, he won 3 Premier League titles and a Champions League. At Real Madrid, he won 4 more Champions Leagues and 2 La Liga titles. At Juventus, back-to-back Serie A titles. He has dominated every league he ever touched. England, Spain, Italy. He has scored over 900 goals in professional football. 900. That is not a human number. That is a number you put on a machine. And yet there he is, a man from a small island who made that number his personal minimum standard. So tell me, why is the word incomplete still attached to his name? Because of one competition, one stage, one golden trophy that has always been in someone else's hands. We will get there. Here is something club football will never give you. You can win the Champions League with your club, but your club buys players. Your club has a budget. Your club has financial power behind every single decision. The World Cup is different. At the World Cup, you play with your country. You play with your brothers. You play for every single person who looks like you, speaks like you, grew up on the same streets as you. It is not just a football tournament. For 32 nations, the World Cup is identity. It is pride. It is history. It is memory passed down through generations. Think about Brazil in 1970, Italy in 1982, France in 1998, Germany in 2014. These were not just football victories. These were moments that shaped entire nations. Moments that grandparents still tell their grandchildren about. And for Portugal, the World Cup is the one stage that has always slipped away. Portugal have reached one World Cup final in 1966. That is the only time they have ever been that close to touching the trophy. One final in 6 decades of trying. And Ronaldo, the greatest player this nation has ever produced, has never even come close to that moment. Now, here is where the story starts to really sting. Because it is one thing to say the trophy is missing. It is another thing entirely to sit with every moment where it almost happened, and then did not. And trust me, those moments exist. More than one. Each one more painful than the last. Let us go back to 2006. Germany. Ronaldo is 21 years old, already one of the most exciting players on the planet. Portugal make it all the way to the semifinals. For the Portuguese people, this is the closest they have come to glory in 40 years. They face France, Zidane, Maclel, Ribéry. The semi-final ends 1-0. Portugal are out. Ronaldo walks off the pitch with tears running down his face. He is 21. He thinks, Next time, we will finish this. There was no next time, not like that. 2010, South Africa. Portugal reached the quarterfinals. They faced Spain, at that moment, arguably the greatest football team ever assembled. Spain win 1-0. Ronaldo, 1 goal in the tournament. It is over. 2014, Brazil. Portugal crash out in the group stage. Ronaldo is carrying a knee injury. He drags himself through every single match on sheer willpower. The team around him is not good enough. He cannot do it alone. They go home early. And then 2018, Russia. This was supposed to be the year. He is 33. He is still in arguably the best form of his career. In the group stage, he scores a hat trick against Spain. One of the greatest individual World Cup performances in living memory. The world watches. The world starts to whisper, maybe this time. Maybe this is finally his moment. Then comes Uruguay in the round of 16. Ronaldo, 0 goals. Portugal, eliminated. Just like that. Gone. But the real breaking point, the moment that hurt the most, was still coming. Qatar 2022, his last realistic World Cup. He is 37 years old, and almost immediately things start to unravel. There are reports of conflict inside the squad, reports that Ronaldo is unhappy. He starts key knockout matches on the bench. The team that was supposed to be built around him is moving on without him. Portugal beat Switzerland 6-1 in the round of 16. Ronaldo comes off the bench and scores. For one brief moment, you think, maybe the story is turning. Then the quarter-final. Morocco, a team that nobody predicted would go this far. 1-0. Portugal are out. And Ronaldo cried on the pitch. Not quietly, not with composure. He sobbed like a man who understood exactly what had just been taken from him. At 37 years old, walking off a World Cup pitch in tears. That image broke football fans all over the world. And then came the thing that made it even harder to watch. While Ronaldo was on a plane home from Qatar, Lionel Messi was lifting the World Cup trophy. The one thing Ronaldo did not have, Messi now had. The debate that had consumed football for 20 years suddenly felt different. Suddenly felt, for many people, settled. Now, we are not here to tell you Messi is better or worse than Ronaldo. That debate will never truly end. But here is what we will say. For Ronaldo's legacy, Messi winning the World Cup made the missing trophy hurt 10 times more than it ever did before. Because now it is not just about Ronaldo chasing a dream. It is about Ronaldo being the last standing argument in the greatest debate in football history. And right now, that argument has a hole in it the size of the entire World Cup. But do not go anywhere, because the story is not finished. Not yet. And what comes next is genuinely the most interesting part. The 2026 World Cup. USA, Canada, Mexico. The biggest World Cup in history. 48 teams, more games, more rounds, more chances for stories that nobody saw coming. And Cristiano Ronaldo has not ruled out playing in it. He will be 41 years old. Now, before you say it, think about what 41 actually means for this specific human being. This is a man who does not drink alcohol. A man who sleeps in controlled conditions to maximize recovery. A man who has treated his body like a professional instrument for 25 years. Fitness experts who have worked directly with him have estimated his biological age to be somewhere in his mid-20s. Roger Federer was playing Grand Slam tennis at 40 years old. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl at 43. When athletes dedicate everything, and we mean everything, to their physical condition, age stops meaning what we think it means. And here is the thing that people forget when they dismiss Ronaldo in 2026. He does not need to be the Ronaldo of 2018. Portugal have changed. The team around him is genuinely excellent now. Bruno Fernandes, one of the most creative midfielders in world football. Bernardo Silva, a Champions League winner and one of the most technically gifted players of his generation. Rafael Leao, explosive, unpredictable, a nightmare for any defender in the world. João Felix, still evolving, still improving, still not yet at his ceiling. This is not the Portugal of 2014, where Ronaldo was carrying 10 average players on his back. This is a Portugal squad that, on a good day, can compete with anyone in the world. In a 48-team World Cup with more rounds and more matches to build momentum, Could a 41-year-old Ronaldo ride a young, hungry Portugal team to the greatest moment of his life? We are not telling you it is likely. We are telling you it is possible. And in football, possible is all you ever need. Think about 2016. Portugal won the entire European Championship without winning a single group stage game. They ground out result after result. They scraped through round after round. And then in the final, Ronaldo got injured in the first half. He could not play. He spent the rest of the game on the sideline, limping, shouting instructions, pointing, coaching, willing his teammates forward from the touchline. Portugal won that final, while their best player stood on one leg and screamed at them to believe. If that man can win a tournament injured and unable to play, imagine what he does when he is fully fit, fully prepared, and fully aware that this is his absolute last chance. That question alone should be enough to keep every football fan in the world watching Portugal in 2026. Here is what Ronaldo's World Cup story is really about. It is not about a trophy. Trophies are metal and glass. You win them, you put them in a cabinet, and eventually they collect dust. This story is about one of the greatest human beings in sporting history, spending his entire career chasing something he cannot fully control. He could control his body, he could control his training, he could control his goals, his fitness, his mentality, his diet, his sleep, his recovery. He controlled all of it, with a discipline that most professional athletes cannot even imagine. But he could never control his teammates. He could never control the draw. He could never control the one deflection that went the wrong way, the one refereeing decision, the one goalkeeper who had the game of his life on the exact wrong day for Ronaldo. That is what makes this human. That is what makes this real. Because we have all had something like that in our lives. The opportunity that was taken by timing. The thing you worked hardest for, that still has not come. The moment that was just slightly out of reach, no matter how much you wanted it. Ronaldo, with all the trophies and all the records and all the glory in the world, is still just a man, chasing the one thing that keeps escaping him. And in 2026, if Portugal qualify, and they will, the whole world will be watching him one final time. Not because people want him to succeed, not because people want him to fail, but because somewhere deep down, every single one of us understands what it means to want something so badly that it has become part of who you are. The World Cup is not just a trophy for Ronaldo. It is the final chapter of his story, and right now, that chapter has no ending. Will he finish his career as the man who won everything, or the man who won everything, except the one thing that mattered most? We do not know. Nobody does. But that is exactly why we will all be watching. If this story moved you in any way, if you felt even a fraction of what Ronaldo must feel every time that World Cup starts without a trophy coming home with him, then you already understand what this channel is about. Goal Thesis is not just football commentary. It is the stories behind the game, the ones that stay with you, the ones that feel like more than sport. Subscribe so you are here when Ronaldo's final chapter is written. Share this video with someone who loves football, because some stories are too good to watch alone. This is Goal Thesis. One goal, one world, one team.